Zanzibar police stated that she sent herself to meet the Lord and Savior because the husband and her got into an argument the night prior and they separated them, putting them in separate rooms, claiming she used a piece of her own clothing to do it. While you have those on social media not believing this, saying that the husband needs to be arrested and held accountable, you have others saying, why you have some on social media saying we need to mind our business because they're claiming she's just like the black dude that lost his life to his white girlfriend.
I don't want to hear none of y'all talk about how hard I am and I'm wrong and this and that. If Ashley does not respect black men, she had no value for us. Why would I care? Why would I put any value on her? If she had no value for my life, why would I have any value for her life? That GoFundMe that they put together, they will have to go find me to contribute to it because they can't get a dime of mine. But what say you? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
It's interesting to me how the hotel separated them and gave them 2 rooms, because most hotels are either going to call the police or kick you both out.
I would say, check the backgrounds of the people you deal with. Like, how are they cousins? How are they grandparents? You know what I'm saying? What do they believe in? How do they think about you?
Assuming what happened to her, or assuming it was her partner, or assuming things that they don't know. And you guys create videos with so many opinions where you're 10 toes down on what you're saying, and it's hurtful to the family who knew her. It's hurtful to the friends that knew her. It's hurtful to her family. It's hurtful to anybody who's trying to get a genuine update that loves and cares about her, because she was a phenomenal person.
Joe McCann is being held in Tanzania. He is not allowed to leave the country at this point. They're saying he is not a suspect, but until everything is fully investigated, he is being kept, in Tanzania.
This is not your average everyday situation. But we got to bring awareness to this, because for all the girls out there who want to fetishize this lifestyle and fetishize being just like this woman, you just got to be aware of all of the possibilities.
Pressure on my back, whole time. The pressure get cause pain, carry one.
I'm just going to show y'all a bunch of different reactions from different TikTokers that I felt had some input to provide based on this case.
Have you all heard of an Alpine divorce? When a man takes their partner on a vacation and instead of breaking up with them, takes them up into the mountains or takes them out into the ocean, and there's an accident that happens and the spouse magically disappears or winds up dead because they don't have the sack to break up with them. And I think that's what happened to Ashley Robinson. I know that I'm a conspiracy theorist. I know that I spout off a lot of ideas about things on my page. When something doesn't feel right, it's not right. Same thing with the Nancy Guthrie, same thing with Erica Kerr. I'm 52 years old, so I know by now when something does not add up. You just know. And this Joe McCann guy is worth like 45 or 50 million dollars. And then all of a sudden, she winds up dead. They interviewed the family doesn't buy it. They said that 11 hours after she attempted to unalive herself, he called them. 11 hours later, it was the hospital that notified her family, saying that she had passed. Do I think that Joe brought his beautiful girlfriend to Africa for a safari and a birthday weekend and to propose to her? No, I don't. I think this is a ruse. I think that this is another entitled, rich man who thinks that he can get away with murder.
Rest in peace to Ashley Janae. Ashley Robinson is her real name. I want to know, did Ashlee Janae know enough about her partner's background to be so comfortable with this man? And I just feel like a lot of times when people get into interracial relationships, no matter if it's a black guy or a black girl, they don't tend to do the proper investigation on the lineage of where these people come from.
Social media is arguing after a new update has come out about the death of Ashley Janae, who passed away while on a trip in Africa with her boyfriend, and why some people on social media are saying we should mind our business. Zanzibar police stated that she sent herself to meet the Lord and Savior because the husband and her got into an argument the night prior and they separated them, putting them in separate rooms, claiming she used a piece of her own clothing to do it. While you have those on social media not believing this, saying that the husband needs to be arrested and held accountable, you have others saying, why you have some on social media saying we need to mind our business because they're claiming she's just like the black dude that lost his life to his white girlfriend. Calling out how she basically insinuated that men of color, but not white dudes, put hands on women in Miami. And pulling up old tweets where they claim that she had an obsession with the opposite color. Also dissing her reposts. So that's why they're saying that they're going to give the same energy that they gave dude right here when Shotty got rid of him. But prayers out to her family and friends. I know they're going through it. I'm just here reporting the news. What do you guys think about this whole situation? Yeah.
Now, I haven't done too much deep diving into Joe McCain's actual lineage, like his parents and stuff like that. But I'm going to get into that in a later video. But I want to talk about the fact that black people invite everybody to the cookout. We too comfortable with people. And I think that Ashlee Janae is a victim of this.
We both have had FaceTime conversations with her. She was showing us the engagement ring and where they were. She was happy. It doesn't make any sense.
We found out that our daughter had passed from the hotel. The fiance did not reach out to us at all.
I think people is asking the wrong questions. I think the right question to ask is not what happened, right? We know what happened. Ashlee Janae was found unalived in Tanzania. Why did it happen? She was celebrating her birthday. She was on vacation with her fiance, who is worth all of this money. And one argument, I don't know if this is one argument, this could be many arguments. My question is, why Tanzania? What's the numbers on Tanzania? I might have to go look that up. Let's see. Tanzania. Many tourist deaths. Okay, I'm gonna read this out to y'all. According to Google search, while specific comprehensive status on total annual tourist details, deaths in Tanzania are not routinely published by the government, incidents are generally rare compared to the high volume of visitors. Risks primarily stem from road accidents and during times of instability, political unrest. According to Google, let's go to the news because according to Google, that it doesn't have high volumes of death in Tanzania compared to the high level number of tourists there. Maybe I'm asking the wrong question. I'm gonna put Black Americans. Well, let's do it. Let's take another route. We're gonna ask ChatGPT. All right, so from all the reports I got, there is no real record of Tanzania government having like African American female tourists getting unalived. So Ashlee Janae might be the first of her kind, at least in that part. I just felt like that was important information. We need to speak up, but we need to speak up in a serious way. This is not gonna just go over. I think everybody that has a platform should speak about this because we got to bring awareness. And you're gonna see a lot of mixed opinions.
So there has been an update. The Tanzania police are holding his passport. He is not allowed to leave the country at this point. Joe McCain is being held in Tanzania. He is not allowed to leave the country at this point. They're saying he is not a suspect, but until everything is fully investigated, he is being kept, in Tanzania, which I am happy to hear because it's, this is very, very mysterious and it's just so many unanswered questions. And the fact that there is a 11-hour gap or lapse from when she died until, and then the fact that he didn't even report her death to her parents.
We're definitely glad for the update that, her parents is pushing for this and that she actually might get some justice because Tanzania is actually holding him. But we don't know how the laws is over there. So we just got to stay tuned and stay updated with this case because a lot of times cases like this, for some reason, get swept under the rug and forgotten about.
It was the hotel that reported it. And then there is some alleged stories out that they were arguing while there and they had to be separated while on vacation. I mean, just imagine that a hotel had to get involved to separate the two of them because it was an insoluble conflict. So yeah, they're holding his passport. He's not allowed to leave the country.
Fortunate news is that Tanzania doesn't have any like history, at least on the internet, of any type of crimes being significantly done in that part of the world. I was originally wondering, did he do his homework on Tanzania and knowing that, as a part of the world, he could actually get away with a crime? But as you can see, TikTok is blowing up and is going crazy about this whole thing.
Never convinced me that a black woman went to Africa, celebrated her birthday, got engaged, and decided to unalive herself. I'm sorry, that does not sit right with me. I know that there was some foul play. I just feel it in my spirit.
Y'all make sure y'all don't forget to like, subscribe. Make sure y'all leave a comment, leave a hype this video, because this is all about perspective. And this is a different perspective coming to you. We really want to know why it happened. We don't care about what happened. Everybody knows what happened. We want to know what led up to the events. What was the argument about? When you deal with powerful men, not white men, because many powerful men that like very egotistic, is capable of this type of stuff.
Because ain't no way all of these good things is happening. And based on her tweets, it looked like she wanted to be with that, white man. I ain't here to point the finger, but some foul play was definitely involved. Now, I don't know if you know anything about black women, if you're watching this from a different perspective, but black women love their birthday. And being in Africa is the motherland. Like, our ancestors is there. Are you kidding me? I just can't feel in my heart that somebody would do that. I just don't. Everything was great from what we're hearing. If I'm getting proposed to, it's my birthday. Like, I don't know where that fits in. And I could be wrong. But it definitely seems off to me. It does not sit right with me. Something is wrong. They need to investigate more. And then it was said that she had like some sort of choker over her neck, how she was like hanging, I guess. Like, I don't know. This shit is just, no, it's not adding up. I'm not taking that answer. We need more.
I'm not going to just sit here and just put a race card and say everything is about race. Not when it comes to like domestic violence and a man killing a woman. We're not going to do that because the statistics is always going to show that each and every race kills more their own, whether it's men, women, or whatever. What I will say is Ashley Janae definitely made a decision and she put herself in a situation where this was a possibility. So I would say, check the backgrounds of the people you deal with. Like, how are they cousins? How are they grandparents? You know what I'm saying? What do they believe in? How do they think about you? How do they feel about you? What's the energy when you're around these people? I think that young ladies should focus more on that part of the game than what color or what shade the person is, but just know what comes with that.
So hear me out. What if it wasn't her fiance that killed her? Now, I'm not saying that he didn't, but I just want you guys to see a different perspective real quick. It's interesting to me how the hotel separated them and gave them 2 rooms, because most hotels are either going to call the police or kick you both out. It kind of reminds me of the girl that went to Tanzania, I think that's what it's called, Africa, and she stayed in a hotel and they kidnapped her from the hotel, and she woke up in the back of the car and was like, what the heck, jumped out the car. The guy's trying to cover up her face, scratching her, beating her, and she's fighting for her life, and she runs back to that hotel and she's like, last thing I remember, I was down in this lobby. And remember, the hotel wanted to show the video of of her last memory of her being in the hotel. Oh, we don't know where it's at, whatever. Then they called their police, and then come to find out that their police weren't even real police, because the U.S. Embassy came in and said that those aren't real police. That was crazy. But then it has me thinking about Kanika Jenkins. Remember her? In Chicago, Illinois, down the road from me. We all swore it was the girl with the glasses, recording her and all that stuff. But then it got really sketchy because the hotel would not release the footage. They did, but it took them a minute to release the footage. And then you find her body up in the freezer. So who's to say that that's why the hotel was so involved, like trying to separate the rooms, trying to get them away from each other? When I heard the separate rooms, like something went off in my brain, because when that girl got to the hotel, her and her friend were down there screaming at them, and they were trying to tell her friend to go with the cops and then like to separate them. It's just weird. It's just weird. Sometimes these hotels are the ones that are doing stuff to people. Because in my mind, I'm like, what if she got in that separate room? What if they were trying to traffic her and she fought just like that girl did in Africa? What if she fought and it didn't go well, and so they ended up just killing her, trying to stage it as a suicide? Who knows?
Yeah, before I get into that one, what do y'all think about the whole hotel situation? It is a lot of trafficking going on. We can't front. It's been reported all across the world, even in the United States. You know what I'm saying? So this is something that could be a real thing, that they separated them two, got actually in a room. It's sketchy. I don't want to give too much credit to that, because I don't want to take light off the fact that, yeah, Joe McCain, he's the #1 suspect. We don't want to just be like, nah, he ain't do it, but we also gotta keep all possibilities in mind to prevent it. Things in life is gonna happen, but if you're a parent, you definitely don't want this to happen to your daughter. And just like a court case or anything else, this can be used as a blueprint to stay out of this type of mess, man. It's real unfortunate what happened with this young lady, man. Condolences to her family. But at the same time, when you go in these foreign places and you go to these hotels, you gotta do your research, man. It's a lot of kidnapping that be going on in these different resorts and these different countries. You know what I'm saying? We already got a bad enough trafficking problem right here in the United States. You really don't need to be part of no trafficking problem across seas. So people be mindful. But we gonna continue.
It reminds me of Shanquilla Robinson. Y'all remember she went out of town with her friends and stuff like that, and they beat her up in the hotel room and she never returned home alive, and no justice have been served on that case. These cases are similar. You know, when we go out of town and we go to these countries and these foreign places and things of that nature on vacation, and we come, you know, fell in the water, or, you know, allegedly hung ourselves, or allegedly was drunk and passed out, or got jumped or whatever by friends in the hotel room, we don't get the justice that we deserve in these countries that we go to and spend our money when we are doing tourism and things of that nature. Now, look, they said that Joe McCain, they had to separate them. They said the staff had to separate Ashley and Joe. Ashley is an influencer on all platforms, and she was an influencer. And Joe, he was a businessman, you know, in crypto and things of that nature. I don't trust no nigga in crypto. Sorry. Joe was a white guy, and he was in crypto.
Like I said, this is a powerful man thing. So when y'all going out with powerful men and men that have resources, that y'all like, oh, I need my man to have this and my man to have that. You know what else your man might have? Your man might have the resources to get your situation unsituated, and he could still get situated, if y'all know what I mean. You know what I mean? And this is one of them situations where I want to not be too lighthearted about it, because I don't want to make too much jokes about it. But in all seriousness, you know, she didn't like black men. She got tweets and different posts basically, you know, just saying she prefers white men. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if she hated black men. I'm really surprised at the fact that she would put up tweets going against black men when, you know, her father seems to be like she's with her mother. So if she loves her father, you know, even if you like the white man, you know, I wouldn't think a young lady that likes a white man would bash a black man if she loved her father.
And he had a company, a firm called, a financial firm called Asymmetrical. Joe got monies and things of that nature. Now, details are coming out about this story about Ashley, Janae, and Joe. They was on social media, you know, front for the gram. Chanel, Birkin bags, all of it, girl. Rolls Royce, Lamborghinis, G-Wagons, all of it. All the things, girl, that makes us look and gag and want to live our life and mimic our life after them. And so she was showing all of this luxury, you know, first class, living the life. But she was showing all of it. You know what I'm saying? She rarely smiled in pictures. That's how I could see something was going on. But Joe had these weird, quirky looks. And I could tell by a person's eyes that they have intent. Now, the reason we're saying that, you know, justice may not be served in this case, you know, Tanzania is on the ban list. You know what I'm saying? We ain't supposed to be going over there anyway. You know what I'm saying? Messing around. And allegedly, it's a place where they can be bought. You know what I'm saying? They said the owner of the hotel was a white guy, and most of the staff is black. So they can be bought, and the police can be silenced too, because they want the coin, the money. Joe had the money. You know what I'm saying? So Joe called the family called the family 2 days, and they said the girl been in the hospital back and forth, unresponsive for 5 days, but Joe waited 2 days after the incident had happened so they can get the story together, in my mind, so they can get the story together to tell the family what happened, what occurred in the hotel room. Now, obviously, ligature marks was around her neck and things of that nature. And they said that Ashley was actually alive when, help came, when the paramedics came.
So that's another question I got. And also, if this young lady with this rich man that's worth all his money, how is it possible that she doesn't have any money? They said they found her bank account empty. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about this whole situation. I know that a lot of people feel like, listen, I don't care about black women, so why should I care about her? And everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But at the same time, this is still a young black woman and this is her life. And no matter what, she's one of us. Now, I don't care what nobody say. A lot of people ain't gonna agree with that. It's a lot of women that's slept out in a relationship, but they still people and they still count, in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you go out your way and you fight they mate if they mate going at them and all that, but when it comes to them being unalived, I think they should at least get the respect to be like, you know what, rest in peace, sis. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying go give your life for a woman that is knowingly putting herself in a situation where she could be fetishized. Let's call it what it is, man. Let's not try to color code it, man. A lot of times interracial relationships be a fetish thing, and let's keep it real. It don't usually be from you know. They don't usually be from that type of vibe. You know what I mean? So we gotta just keep that a real thing. And that's male or female. I have had some experiences myself where it was just that's what they love to do, the black guys. You know what I mean? That was just their thing. So we ain't going to just try to color code nothing on this channel. I just want to highlight what's going on around the internet.
I tried not to go down this Ashley Janae rabbit hole, but none of the information that they're putting out is making sense. And I believe that her so-called fiance knows way more than he's saying he does. Let's start off with the fact that he never told anybody that they had an argument, that they was fussing, that they were staying in separate rooms. So it came out that hotel staff had to separate them and put them in different rooms because they was arguing and fighting. But Joe never said that. Also, it's a couple of other things that just don't sit right with me. So I went down that rabbit hole. It doesn't look like Joe is happy in any of these pictures. And I didn't notice that till I seen a video of a lady breaking down every single picture. And I started to notice it myself. Now I'm gonna say a couple of things without saying them. I just want you to pay attention. You know how we do. I need you to zoom in on Joe's face. Just zoom in. Tell me what you see. As a matter of fact, we're gonna go back to this picture right here. Zoom in on Joe's face and tell me what you see. Now let's remember this. They went out there to celebrate this woman's 31st birthday. And the fact that they were getting engaged. That's a happy moment, right? So what made this woman right here take her life? Shit don't make no sense, right? I go deeper down the rabbit hole and I see a couple of other things. And again, I give this other lady credit because I'm seeing things now that I didn't see before. Look at this picture right here. Tell me what you see. All right, now look again. Tell me what's in this picture that doesn't belong in this picture. You see anything out of the ordinary? Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you. Who are those people standing in that corner right there? Take a good look. Who are these people looking like they went through a time warp, standing in that picture? See, like I said, none of this shit is adding up.
If he was involved, he definitely probably could have put up some chicken and easily had that happen to her. 'Cause why was those dudes even in her picture? And why wouldn't he say to them, get out of her picture? It looked like they was just watching her. But y'all let me know in the comments how y'all feel about this whole situation. And how do y'all feel about the mask he wear on X? If you are a leader and a chairman of basically a Fortune 500 company that trade in crypto, why would you have a black mask around the bottom part of your face? If you don't got something real dark about you, man.
Now let's fast forward. Joe said that Ashley took her own life. Ashley's family said they don't believe Joe. Ashley wouldn't have taken her own life. Joe is worth $45 million. Ashley's family has a GoFundMe up for $50K to bring Ashley's body home. Joe just went to Tanzania and asked Ashley to be his wife, fiance. So whatever happened, well, you get it. Mind you, now Tanzanian officials has taken Joe's passport because they think that he needs to answer more questions. I'ma just say this. Ashley wasn't supposed to lose her life like that. She wasn't supposed to lose her life like that. I'm out.
I wonder what type of woman Ashley Janae was. Like, you know what I'm saying? Did she date black men when she was younger? What was her experiences with black men? I don't really have much of that on TikTok right now because it's oversaturated about what happened. I hope the, further developments come out and we figure out how it happened. You know what I'm saying? Because when I looked on her social media, you only see the recent stuff about, her interracial relationship with this guy, Joe. Maybe Joe didn't do it, at least not himself. The whole police report, them being in separate rooms right there, isn't that enough? Would you say not an alibi, but an alibi that he was in a separate room the whole time and that even the hotel staff knew they got into a fight and had to separate. So how could he even be with her, right? Especially if there's no cell phone records to prove this.
I found this over there on the Book of the Face, and when I tell y'all they is not letting up on her, may her soul rest in peace. But the way they coming hard in the comment section, and then they speaking on the whole life insurance policy and why the family got a GoFundMe for somebody that was living in her soft feminine energy by a supposed rich Caucasian man and bragging and doing all that. That's why you can't act like you live in a certain lifestyle on social media, and then you log off and then real life happens. If you're gonna be on here boasting, you gotta have a level of transparency about yourself. If you're gonna live that social media, or what they call it, the content creation lifestyle, better be able to show it. Like if something real come, or else keep all your personal life in your business.
It's more than meets the eye. You see the two guys that was in the picture, right? And we know that these hotels out of town and across seas, they got a whole different type of way of doing things out there, especially when the money get involved. And if you worth $45 million, even if you don't have it right now, I'm quite sure you got somebody willing to leave you $1 million or two. It wouldn't have been nothing for Mr. Joe to just have, some people come through and just...
I don't typically do these kind of videos. I'm just not like a TikTok, Instagram person. I prefer to watch than to make videos. But there's a topic very close to home, and that is about my friend, Ashlee Janae. There's a lot of talk about her around on the internet, and as someone who's known her since about 2021, she was a fucking phenomenal person. Excuse my language. I don't know if I could post it like that, but she was a phenomenal person. She was funny. She was a girl's girl. She would make sure you got home if we went out drinking. She was about black women. She was about her black people. So all this stuff about her being with a white man, okay, that's who she chose to be with. You guys are pulling up messages from back in 2011, 2013, when she was still a child. She's worked hard for where she is. Just because you can't relate to her doesn't mean you should dehumanize her.
It says, it's true, me and Ashley did a London dating show and me and her ended up together on a pilot. She was beauty to work with and she is still my friend to this day. I'm glad you spoke for her. She loved black men and she was a real person. She was both from Jersey we was both from Jersey and related so much. Who said this? This is Robbie XI Instagram, and it's Lexi Love. Thank you. People who know Ashley knows that she would never off herself, and she loved black men. Thank you for standing up for her. Thank you standing up for you. 100. Yeah, but standing up for her. I really just hope that she's able to rest in peace, but this one was tough.
Right? We are already talking about dehumanizing people across the fucking world in genocides, but we dehumanize this person because they don't live a lifestyle. Hold on. Because they don't live a lifestyle that you agree with. They both loved each other. I don't know what happened. I don't know what went wrong, but let's allow the police to do their job. I knew Ashley. I didn't know her to do something like this. So I might be leaning more into something happened to her, but this is all speculation. This is just from the person that I knew her to be. This isn't like her. She's not one to put up with someone mistreating her. So I don't know. I just know that you guys know less than I do, and I've known her for years.
Yeah, I'm free. What's up? Then at the Club Jones. Yeah, I'm with it. Come see me cute into how we popping on. I'll text each other during the day when dinner plan to say, okay, boo. Now this came from Zojanae dot shy. I'm gonna let y'all see it because I don't even but y'all go follow her. She said she was Ashlee Janae's friend and she gave out a little heartfelt and then she got a point where just letting things play out, but let's keep it real, man. These type of things may not even play out in our favor. We are Black American people, and she looks like she grew up in a better type of neighborhood with a better type of background, so she doesn't understand what happens to most of urban America, if you will. So I can understand her life experiences leading her to say some of the things she said, but a lot of people that is like on ground level or mid level clearly understand that the possibilities of him doing it is large, whether he gets convicted or not. Let's just keep it all there. But a lot of people just disagree with her lifestyle, and it is hate. It's a lot you hate on it. It's called perspective. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna look from a different lens. We not gonna say what's what, and we ain't gonna say what ain't. But we gonna look from a different lens. We gonna give ourselves a chance to really think critically here now.
Telling me that the misunderstanding was so intense that hotel staff had to separate them in 2 different rooms?
Ever lead me to believe that she would do something to harm herself.
She's out of the country with her boyfriend. She's celebrating her birthday April 5th. Gets engaged to this boyfriend, same trip. From what I could see online, she's actively posting content during this time, even texting with a friend about the engagement. Then days later found deceased while on that same trip in Zanzibar. After hearing a little bit of what her mom said, I'm not pointing fingers, but shit. It was reported that her and the boyfriend got into an alleged misunderstanding. Now, her mother states that sometime after that, security had walked him to the room and that's when they found her. And let's be honest, that is possible, right? And obviously, when you put everything together and you're looking from the outside in, the shit looks weird. I really hope all possibilities are explored, though. Considering they had to be separated, that means staff would possibly know that she's in that room alone, right? Foreign country, on vacation, beautiful girl, a lot of suspects. I do also want to point out, I've seen a lot of people online saying that her lifestyle is what ultimately led to her fate. Let's be real, that's a nasty ass thing to say. No matter what you believe happened here, nobody deserves that. With that being said, I think all possibilities are on the table. Vacation, birthday trip, proposal, take your own life.
I think it's important that we don't discard her and forget her because every black man out here that's bashing her or whatever is all fun and games until it's somebody that you close to or somebody you related to. And let's be honest, a lot of times men ain't even around their kids enough to really raise them. So what's raising them? The television, what they see outside, their friends, their school. They want what they see their friends had. And growing up, it seems like Ashley may have strayed away into the lights and the glitz and the glam of things.
This is part 2 of discussing Ashley Robinson, a 31-year-old woman found deceased in Zanzibar. In part 1, I discussed the timeline of events. Now let's get into the unanswered questions. So news reports are indicating that the family is not getting answers from the fiance, and I think that would reasonably concern any family. He was communicating with them before she was officially declared deceased. He called the family and told them that she was stable, so the family probably wants to know, why aren't you talking now? And I think any reasonable family member would want to know who told the fiance that Ashley was stable, because based on what I could piece together, it sounds like she was not stable when she was located in the hotel. It sounds like she was probably deceased at that time or shortly thereafter. So are the authorities and doctors stating that she passed away later at the hospital? That discrepancy I do think needs to be addressed.
She had a decent home. Her mother and her father seemed like they still together, but who knows? It does seem like it could be a money play. Yeah, I don't think Joe McCain physically did it himself. I don't know how much he was involved, if he was involved at all, because allegedly, you know, but
Also, the medical records state that there was an unidentified mark around her neck, but what evidence has been presented that confirms that that mark is consistent with her harming herself versus someone else strangling her and staging the room to make it look like the injury was self-inflicted? Also point your attention to the fiance's alleged statement stating that she hurt herself on the door, but what physical evidence supports that? Because these same medical records have those question marks. Are those question marks there because the investigators themselves are uncertain about whether his account was accurate, or are they going off of memory because notes were not accurately taken, or are they putting question marks because they were not able to investigate and conclude that the injury was self-inflicted? And is there surveillance footage of the hotel? Did anyone enter her room prior to the incident or have access to her room? And this family deserves those answers directly. And while I don't have all the answers, I do know one thing.
She was not just going to be discarded and forgotten about.
And more importantly than it being a black or white thing, it's a status and an understanding thing. Understand who you're around. So you just better make sure that you know who you're around, you know who you're dealing with, and you know, enjoy your life. Don't be living scared neither, you know, to do things. And like I said, it can happen to anybody. Know your personnel and y'all be safe.
This is a photo of Larry Rudolph and his unalived wife. They went to a trip to Africa. Stick with me. It was 2016, and Larry was having an affair with someone he was working with. And while he was having that affair, he was plotting against his own wife with this woman who he was having an affair with. He just wanted to start a new life with this different lady. So they went to Africa, him and his wife. I think it was Zambia or something like that, on a safari, etc., etc. Stick with me. Now, the unfortunate thing about these small places in Africa where you can go on safaris, etc., you could stay at like these cabins or these hotels or whatever, they are not the safest places because a lot of the employees, the police there, etc., they're just not going to take care of a crime scene how someone would in America.
Even in Africa, white privilege is still existing. And the fact of the matter is that if you over there, right, and they saying that, you know, a lot of these small countries in Africa, you know, they could be paid off. Ain't no cameras on the safaris, you in these cabins. You ain't got no access to no evidence. The evidence is shot. So your whole investigation is already starting off a little in the back.
For his wife, unfortunately, she had to wait years to get justice and him to be actually found guilty of unaliving her, because guess what? She didn't have an accident with a shotgun. He did it. Now, with this case currently, they went to Africa. Safari. She was newly engaged to this man. And I've heard some rumors and stuff on the blog saying that he was already married and like he engaged to her like unbeknownst to her that he had a wife and all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. But some people are actually believing that she took her own life and all this other stuff. I'm sorry, I don't believe it.
It's gonna take a lot to convict this man, especially if everything is clean. You know, he covered his tracks real well. Maybe Joe McCann is smarter than we all giving him credit for. This could be, you know, one of the things where he actually knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to say, well, if he doesn't get convicted, he stop it. The cops don't have 100% conviction rate nowhere, especially in somewhere like Africa. It's not a thing. Like, let's just keep it real. I'm going to conclude this episode with that. Until next time. You already know the vibe. This is Frederick, the mayor. I come with different layers, and I never forget to say my prayers, and I hope you don't either.
Pressure on my back, hope so. The pressure, yeah, cause pain, carry one.